Hello, everyone. I am Peter Okebukola, and today is Saturday, March the 27th, 2021. I'd like to put God first in all that I do. So we'd like to pray that God should bless our efforts in the curriculum review process, and that God should bless Baba Rashid, our boss, His Academic Eminence, Professor Abubakar Adamu Rashid, especially because he's on to take the Nigerian university system to superlatively great heights. By the way, I told you I will have my COVID-19 jab yesterday, the first outing. I had it, and I'm feeling quite good. So all of you running away from it, I think you better go and take the jab. We have had two practice sessions now. Practice session one was on preparing for the General Assembly. And practice session two was on how we conduct the process at the level of the discipline and the level of the program. This guide, ladies and gentlemen, is to help us in the step-by-step process of conducting the review at the level of the discipline, 17 of them, and also at the level of the programs, 191 plus of them. So it's going to be an exciting session, and I'd like to congratulate you all for having been selected by NUC to be part of this process. Your names will be written in gold, and future generations will know that we are part of the review of the curriculum that has brought the new generation of Nigerian graduates to bear. I missed out some prayer, some element in the prayer, which is that God will keep all of us that are part of this process to witness the first set of graduates that will be product of this our exercise, and also to be part of another review. God will keep us all in good health. It's now my pleasure, dear reviewers. Before we start, you got to hear from the boss. If not, this thing annulled, fake. So I'm going to call on my boss. First, I'm sure you're going to talk about the boss of this boss. This boss is the DAP, Professor Noel Biodun. We want to ask him to give us a few remarks as we take on this short video guide. Professor Saliu, please take the floor.
Thank you very much, sir. Good day, chairman of disciplinary panels, our most distinguished panel reviewers, and my colleague NUC reps. I am Noel Biodun, the Director of Academic Planning of the National Universities Commission, and I bring you very warm greetings from the Executive Secretary, NUC, Professor Abubakar Adamu Rashid.
Bad Rashid. Yes, okay.
Professor Abubakar Rashid has given us this assignment to comprehensively review the curriculum of Nigerian universities, and is trusting that we will be able to deliver an outcome that will stand the test of time and also be one of the best in the global arena.
Yes.
And to this end, I bring you his warm greetings and his assurance that definitely is expecting something great from every one of us. This video guide is just to enable us to know how to go about this online review process so that when we start, it will be seamless and it will help us achieve the goals we have set to achieve at the end of the day with respect to the curriculum review. Please kindly watch the guide, or the video rather, so that you can have a full grasp of the details of it so that you can apply yourself to reviewing the curriculum effectively. I wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you so very much, Director of Academic Planning. With two tongues roll into his, that of Baba Rashid and his own. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's fasten our seatbelts and let's get ready for a very joyful ride on this guide. Oh, yes, a joyful ride it will be, but let's set it in context. Now, His Academic Eminence Abubakar Adamu Rashid has come to revitalize the Nigerian university system. And here we are with a blueprint. Now, this blueprint was developed consensually bottom up. All the universities in Nigeria at the time it was developed, 2019, were all part of this. All senates, all contributed to the development of this blueprint. But what is the context with regard to our curriculum review? The context is that one of the strategic goals, actually strategic goal number 2, is that by 2019, the curriculum of Nigerian universities should be rated among the best 3 in Africa in terms of its relevance to producing globally and all of that. So we are aiming to achieve this goal. But you can see 2019, meaning that we're like 2 years behind, but we'll move. Now, the NUC Strategy Advisory Committee was part of development of the blueprint, and which you all contributed towards. And this group is advisory. We just advise my Oga, Professor Okebukola Rashid, and he will examine the merits of the advice, and if he's happy with it, he moves on with his management, the board, and all of that. So these are the members. Peter Okebukola, Professor Rukayat Ahmed Rufai, former Minister of Education, Professor Gambola Rabah Abdullahi, former Minister of Women Affairs and former Vice Chancellor, University of Abuja. Professor Onime Briggs, former Vice Chancellor, University of Port Harcourt, former CVC Chair. We have so many things. A great medical scientist. Professor Michael Faboro, the former VC of Obafemi Awolowo University, and former Secretary General, immediate past Secretary General of CVC AVCNU. And then, of course, a giant here, Professor Atahiru Jega, OFR, former VC of BUK, and you know him. He's a globally respected INEC person. Professor Chiedu Mafiana, former Deputy Executive Secretary. Topa Togun is, Baba Rashid likes the private sector triple helix thing to be part of this. So he's representing the Nigerian Economic Summit Group. Dr. Suleiman Ramon Yusuf, Deputy Executive Secretary, Academic. Chris Mayaki, Ambassador, Deputy Executive Secretary, Administration. Dr. Biodun Saliu, Director of Academic Planning. Sam Monazi, Director of Finance and Administration. Dr. Miriam Sali, Director of Accreditation. Professor Isaac Obanya, who is late, former Vice Chancellor of Covenant University. And of course, Dr. Joshua Atta, who is a member and secretary of the group. So there are 4 segments to this guide. The first thing we'll do is to look at the conceptual framework. And then we take on the step-by-step thing. How do you conduct the session at the discipline level? How do you conduct the session at the program level? And of course, there are some frequently asked questions that will be able to glean, and there will be providing some answers. As you can see, there are 3 levels: the General Assembly, the disciplinary sessions, and the program sessions. So, very good. Let's begin with conceptual framework. Now, we'll begin by looking at a new level. Now, we want to make a shift from BMAS to CCMAS. Okay, A to B, then to C. Yeah, that's progress. Oh, I think I'll name her Sarah. I'm sorry, but that name is already taken. However, you can still have Sarah 4343 or Sarah _12. So what's the reason for that shift in BMAS to CCMAS? The reason is that the world of terminologies of curriculum, the shift to higher education, is changing rather fast. So how do we know that it's changing? Now, STRAFCOM, that's the NUC Strategy Advisory Committee, we conducted a survey of global leaders in quality assurance in higher education. These are the key global leaders. Leaders of quality assurance of equivalent of NUC in Europe, in North America, in Asia. You can see them. The American one is here, Judith Eaton of Council for Higher Education Accreditation, and this Peter Okebukola here, and India, Egypt, former Assistant Director General of UNESCO, and all of that. So these are the movers and shakers, in quotes, of quality assurance in higher education. And this is the governing, this is the board, the advisory council. And I chaired this council for about 3 years. So we inquired from there. Look, my friend, this thing was the latest terminologies. And we also did a Google search. I will find that it's only in Nigeria that's using BMAS, Benchmark Minimum Academic Standards. The world, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, is moving and moving on to other labels. So when we ask them, what will be your BMAS? They just look at us strangely. What's BMAS? Say, okay, fine. BMAS means so and so. They say, do you mean the core curriculum? And of course, our Google search confirmed that we are yet to move along with the world. So if you look at Harvard, it's Harvard's core curriculum, MIT's core curriculum, University of Chicago, and several others. Let me just do a quick, let me take you through that in practice. Yeah, so this is Google. Let's do benchmark minimum. You can see it's coming up. By the way, this is artificial intelligence at work. Yeah, so you can see benchmark minimum academic standards for a while by NUC, benchmark minimum academic standards. There's no other country you find minimum academic standards. It used to be really, really good, topical. What is moving on? Table of contents of this. It's not that the search is for Nigeria. That's a global search. Now let's look at core curriculum. Yeah, you can actually see before, you can see core curriculum, MIT, Harvard, core curriculum, universities, core curriculum, everything is there. So let's just say core curriculum. And you can see core curriculum, International Bureau of Education, core curriculum, review, core curriculum, core curriculum, core curriculum. So that's the way things are going. Let's even say core curriculum, universities. Sorry, excuse me. So you can see Columbia College, core curriculum for University of Chicago, certain and all of that, Boston, and so on and so on. Yeah, so what would be down history lane? In 1987, Professor Idris Abdulkader, a great ES, by the way, he had MAS, minimum academic standard, proposed to him, and he got that into the Nigerian university system. He had MAS. Then my immediate, my predecessor in office, Professor Muzali Jibril, led NUC to get on benchmark statements in 1998. Then when I got into office 2001, by 2003, BMAS was proposed to the Peter Okebukola led NUC as a merger of benchmark statements and MAS. So you can see what we have moved on. But to be the best, you have to respond to and be abreast of changes in higher education. Things have changed. So what has changed? The MAS thing has faded. Benchmark statements faded. BMAS is fading fast and only available in Nigerian literature. But the Abubakar Adamu Rashid core curriculum and minimum academic standards is modern, is global, and is futuristic. So how will it look like? It will look like this. We say core curriculum and minimum academic standards for the Nigerian university system, CCMAS. So this for agriculture, and so all the programs in agriculture will be in this booklet. And so how does it look like? How it didn't look like? So it will have a core curriculum segment. It's core curriculum CC and MAS. So the core curriculum segment will have the overview, philosophy, objectives, and all of this. Global course structure by level and semester, the course description, including learning objectives and for each course and all that. Then the minimum academic standards segment will have minimum standards for admission, minimum standards for graduation, list of minimum equipment, minimum standards for staffing, for library, for classrooms, laboratories, workshops, and offices, and the others. So that's this thing, CCMAS, so that we are moving with the times. So still part of the conceptual framework. There are 3 models of curriculum guide by regulatory agencies all over the place. The first model, not in no rank order, maybe I say A, is the agency, that's the equivalent of NUC, will just give some general guidelines without specifying courses for universities. This is what you find in universities that are old. 1,000 years old, centuries old. So they already formed good tradition, sound, professors and all of that, not sound like that. I don't mean sound. I mean, that's tradition that is really old. So the many countries in Europe and the US, take this model. You just tell them, okay, well, just general guidelines. The B model is where the universities are free to develop their courses and then seek approval of the regulatory agency. It's different from A because these other people do not need to seek approval of any regulatory agency. So this practice in many African countries. Let me tell you about Ghana. In Ghana, you just have a university develop its own courses in biochemistry, in physics, in history, and then they will go to the Ghana accreditation board. Now, they have been merged, by the way. You now have one tertiary, group, and they are looking all to Nigeria, for some support, some guidance to help them strengthen their operations. So you have in Ghana, in Sierra Leone, and other African countries where you just get the university will develop its courses and approach the regulatory agency, and they will move on with that. Model C, that's where we are. And it's a good model, I tell you. It's a combination where you have the agency like NUC will provide the core curriculum, which will be like 60 to 70%, in some cases 80%, that is mandatory. All universities, you must take those courses. Of course, there'll be electives, just like we have. You'll be electives that you can add to this to make up the 100% of the 120 units for graduation or whatever units that you need. So each university is now free to innovate. So if you say, if NUC now says 70%, the remaining 30% of the 120 units for graduation. So the university, for its program in political science, economics, medicine, and all of that, will then craft its own locally relevant courses and seek approval from NUC, this feature is found in relatively younger university systems with a need to set minimum standards and avoid excesses of universities with weak senate. You have some of our private universities, they don't have, such senates that are of stature in terms of experience. And so if you allow them to just begin to do their courses, that's confusion. There are some matters arising though. If not because NUC has been providing this core curriculum and enforcing it through accreditation. Now, accreditation is running, I think starting this week. That's what Madam Sally, Dr. Miriam Sally has told us, 20-something, I think, this week, and goes on towards April, middle of April or so, or end of April. So if not that one, it will have been confusion all over the place. So this is important for us, for accreditation, and for us to have something minimum. So if you took a Nigerian graduate from any university in any course, let's say history, and another one, you find that there's commonality. They will have the minimum, to be seen to be quality graduates. And this is the reason I this is my speculation, but my speculation can be empirically backed, with data, that those graduates who are trained within the main campus of our universities are globally well regarded. Don't mind what they say. All these people say have big graduates and all that, but they are correct in some sense, because all the ones that are trained in the University of Nigeria Nsukka main campus, or Lagos State University main campus, University of Ibadan main campus, BUK main campus, and all that are very good. I'm not saying they're 100% good, but they are not too bad. But the ones that are in the outreach and satellite campuses, and you see, I'm telling you, they are just the certificates that they are awarding there. They just want to make money on the side, are literally awarded without rigor. So those are the people, they say how big though, all those ones that I know that I don't want to mention the names of those universities, but there are plenty. You recall that when I assumed office as the Executive Secretary, National Universities Commission, 20 years ago in 2001, the first thing we led the commission to do was to close down all those satellite campuses, because we're just selling certificates and spoiling our good name. The products from those centers, so nothing they sabi, because I have many of them over the years in my computer science education class for masters and PhD. They don't know nothing. That's a matter arising. Now, what issues are there in selecting content when you get to the level of program development? Now, we must select content that are critical knowledge and skills that remain evergreen. In other words, don't just populate the place with all manner of content. Let's pick contents that are critical for the field, for biochemistry, for chemistry, for history, for political science, those ones that are evergreen. And then please note that the content in any discipline doubles every 12 months. What does that mean? Take a course like geography. The contents of geography doubles every 12 months. So meaning that if you load the thing for BSc geography or BSc chemistry or zoology or botany, just load the thing. In another 12 months, the content is dated. If you like me to use the word outdated, but I'm going to use dated. The contents are dated because the doubling of the discipline in terms of content. And I tell you what, because of AI, artificial intelligence, I teach a course or two in artificial intelligence. Very soon, 5 years, 10 years down the road, it will double every 12 hours. So what does this mean for us in this exercise? What it means is that don't let's deceive ourselves by just pouring the thing there, because what you are putting there will be obsolete. Indeed, by the time this curriculum is launched, ladies and gentlemen, launched in September, many of the things that we have in there will be obsolete. But that's a matter for another day. So this is the end of the conceptual framework segment, and let's prepare for the step-by-step thing. And we'll talk about input. So what are the inputs into this? The input into the disciplinary level operation and program level operation you can find in 3 folders. Hey, where are the folders? I'll show you in a minute. And you all get these folders by the, let's say now, in a few days. You get these folders latest Tuesday, March 30th. And what will be the contents of the folders? In folder A, I'll show you, I'll give you a demo just now. You will have the revised BMAS from the universities. You have the comments from the universities. And each reviewer for every program that with the track changes and linear outcomes, you will find it inside folder A. Hey, folder A is good, it's loaded. Then folder B, we did a survey, online survey of the strengths and weaknesses of the BMAS and remediation for the program. These results you find in folder B. I actually sent it earlier, but we are resending everything to you, and you have no challenge with opening any of the folders. Some people have some challenge because of unzipping. Now I've unzipped everything, and I'll have everything that is raw for you to take. Folder C, we presented, we had 2 practice sessions. The slides for our presentations you find in folder C. Also, as part of the input, when you get these things, when you are doing the program level operation, you must look for the most recent curricula from top-rate university systems. I mentioned this in my first presentation, or maybe the second, and it's for you to source this in the different program groups. How do you source? Just Google and check for those. The other inputs important, the human input. We have assembled, NUC has assembled the best experts in the land. I mentioned this to you. And of course, you're going to get private sector, the academies, that's for different areas, Academy of Science, Academy of Education, professional bodies, and all of this will be part of that. So, democracy class indeed. Mr. W.A. Ghana, your new teacher. Our first topic is the place of Ghana must go in a democracy. So let's go to the next topic, please. Oh, by the way, before we go to the topic, the place of Ghana must go in a democracy, I did promise I will show you, give you a demo of where you're going to find those folders. So here is it. It's sending to you via WeTransfer. That's an app. An app is just an application. This folder. Final documents for NUC CC Mass reviewers. So when you get this and you open it, hey, you see the three folders: folder A, folder B, and folder C. Can you recall what I said you find in folder A? Yeah, many of you can. So let's look at it. You find BMAS review documents 2021, and when you open this, you find all the materials you need for all the programs. In other words, if you are in law, you're lucky, you are going to get for administration, agric, and everything. So the entire package is here. So what you need to do is, if you are in administration and management, you then come here. And then you see all the programs in administration and management: accounting, actuarial science, banking and finance, and the rest. If you're there for education, you know, we told you that education is huge. See the thing. How many? 37. Oh, our minister, Mama, na real work. So you have adult and continuing education, Arabic education, and all of these other ones as programs. Engineering, you have this. Engineering is a lot too. It's 30 programs. So let's take any one of them. Let's take, okay, we ended with engineering by way of selection. Let's take aerospace engineering. You click on it, you are going to get working material. Working material is the original NUC thing. So let me click on it and you see it. So it's coming up. So you see it now. NUC draft BMAS for aerospace engineering. You can see what it is. You see what it is. How many pages? I can see 17 pages. Overall program focus, related fields, and it goes on like this. That's aerospace engineering. So this is the base document. Base document, yes, and then let's see, yes, okay, that's fine. Then you will also find there the aerospace engineering responses from the resource persons. So you click on it, and I think it's only one person that has responded. So this is the one. Inputs from this. So yes, so you can see that the person who has reviewed this highlighted the additions in red. So that is it. See, added this course and reckon. So this is the document from here. And let's see another. Let's take administration and management. Let me take accounting. So you have working materials for accounting. Do you know what is in there again? Yeah, that's the original BMAS from NUC, I think with some input from the universities. And then you have the accounting. That's this one here. That's the NUC one. We'll see it in a minute. So that's it, accounting, philosophy and objectives. And it goes on, 25 pages of wonderful efforts. Let me close this. And then you have comments on accounting. That's the comments from the universities. So that's the thing. From Samuel Adegboyega University. You find the comments there, which you're going to find useful. And several other universities. Well, this is a 46-page document. This is a Bonny State University, and so on. There you have ICANN position paper on NUC BMAS. Yeah, so this is from ICANN, and you can go through all of it. So that's what that folder, that's what that this one is about. So you can go to your program, your discipline, and then your program inside the discipline. Look at agriculture, all of this. So these are the contents for folder A. Hey, what about folder B? Folder B has the results of the assessment of BMAS and justification. So these are the scores that you gave for administration and management accounting, score of 8, and the justification. So this has everything. So we're very lucky in this group. We have everything for every program. All the post-factual building administration. I try to sort this by program. So this arts, African traditional religion, these are the things. 7, 8. So you find this also helpful. So let's look at the other folder B, recommendations for remedying the deficiencies. This is a very important one. Changes that need to be made to the BMAS. So for a different program. So that's for that folder A. Let's move on to folder C. In folder C, I told you, you're going to get my presentations for the first one and the second practice sessions, and Salio's presentation, the first and the second. So that is that's how it's it. You're going to get this final documents for NUC mass reviewers. Everybody will get this. So you get a link, and then you download, and the whole materials are available for you. Yeah, so that's it for the raw materials. You find them to be helpful. That's the heart of the matter for this work. Oh, did I see Emeritus Professor Nimi Briggs? Are you raising your hand, sir? He's in charge of medicine. So take the floor, sir. Take the floor.
Hello, everyone. My name is Professor Nimi Briggs. I am Emeritus Professor of Obstetrics and Gynecology at the University of Port Harcourt. I've been a doctor for over 50 years, and I am in charge of medicine and dentistry. I'll be grateful if the chairman can now give us step-by-step details of the actions expected of us in carrying out the assignment before us. Many thanks to everyone.
Thank you to Sir Emeritus Professor Nimi Briggs, Grandpa. The steps in conducting the session and the level of discipline, we've been able to come up with 4 steps. And the first one is that you should check, you now, that pronoun is for all the leaders of the groups, of the disciplinary groups. So you have to check that you have all the programs for the discipline. How do you check that? You go to folder A, see that you have all the programs in your discipline. Then you have to check membership of your group. How do you get that? The DAP, Professor Noel Sali, will be sending to you the membership of the group. And then you have to convene the first meeting as directed by NUC. We're going to give you the program of work, the calendar of events. Many of you have been asking for it. I think that will be released by DAP of NUC soon. And we will set up, this other pronoun is the technical end where I chair. We will set up all the sessions that will run in parallel. 17 disciplines, 17 inaugural meetings happening at the same time. So who are members of your group, your discipline? Education, medicine, and all of that. You're going to have the AUC reviewers in academia, those that are specialized in medicine and education. And then we have representatives of relevant academies, professional bodies, and the private sector are supplied by the Nigerian Economic Summit Group through Professor Tokpetogu. Now, in an event that you are not able to get quickly, you can source for some private sector person that can be part of this. What I mean when I say you can source, let's take education for instance. We can get somebody who is the proprietor of a big secondary school or a big private university, or somebody who has worked in the education sector is private to be part of this. They're going to get the NUC representative and others as NUC may specify from time to time. Step 2, that's your first meeting, the inaugural meeting. What happens there? It's running parallel. Every discipline is running at the same time. So what the chairman should do is to lead the group to do 3 things. 1, you browse the contents of the programs in the discipline. Why do you have to do that? You browse it with your group, so I can identify common elements that can be part of the general core curriculum for the discipline. After doing that, then you agree on the philosophy and objectives for the discipline. Let's take medicine and surgery and dentistry. They're both within medicine as a discipline. So the philosophy and objectives of the discipline of medicine, which will be part of dentistry, should be taken across the board and agreed upon by all the members. Then you have to agree on the courses that should be taken across the board in the discipline, regardless of the program. I think I should give you a little demo of this. Since Emeritus Professor Grandfather, the Emeritus Professor Nimi Briggs asked the question, let's look at medicine and dentistry. So we'll ask for them to check that everything is in here. Yes, they are. Well, for dentistry, these are responses for resource persons. This is the working material. So what we're asking the group to do is to browse through dentistry. And then in looking at dentistry, you look at philosophy and objectives, mission, aims and objectives. You find those that are common to medicine, to dentistry, and also to Bachelor of Medicine, BMAS. So you look at this, dental surgery. Okay, let's take the medicine one. That's medicine. So we look at the working materials. Oh, nothing is here. Interesting. So that's why I say you should check. Okay, let's see. These are the post-valuable issue. Of course, you can get some. Let's Professor Ibrahim Yakasi. Yeah, that's a great man. Okay, this is additional to it. Program structure, features of the new curriculum. All right. There are some courses. So what we want you to do in the first task, step 1, just browse through this and see the commonalities. On the basis of this, agree on the philosophy and objectives for the discipline. These will be common areas that you'll be able to get from the discipline. So let's even look at another. Let's look at administration and management. Hey, a lot of work here. So administration and management, you go to browse accounting, the working materials, you browse through this, you look at the philosophy, aims and objectives, and you check for the other programs. So surely, because they all belong to administration and management, you find commonalities. So these are the commonalities that you want you to extract and put as part. You can see admission requirements. They are just philosophy, aims and objectives. Yeah, you can see some are very scanty, so some are quite rich. This is the variability of variegated nature that we want you to harmonize. So all done. Actuarial science, you look at banking and finance, you look at this. So you have to go through all of this. That's the suggestion for steps 1 and for step 2. Yeah, so for step 3, that's the inaugural meeting. You couldn't have finished everything in that first meeting. We expect, as you can see the recommendation here, that you have nothing less than 4 meetings at the disciplinary level of 1 hour each. So the subsequent meetings, you will then continue to deliberate. Grammar will be module. Professors, what we gather there to finalize the task in step 2, the one before. And then the chairman, you should assign a leader to each of the program groups. So you're going to have a leader for accounting, for actuarial science, for all of those. You're going to have a leader for medicine and surgery and for dentistry. So you assign leaders. I request the group to elect its chairperson. So in an event that you have like 3 or 4 persons for a program, so the 4 persons or 3 persons will elect their chair. And if it's only 1 person, hey, not only you, Wakakomo, you are the low reviewer. So you have to take responsibility for the program level task. Or as some people asked during practice session 2, that, oh, they can recommend some other people to strengthen them. So you have to do that with our DAP, Professor Noel Saliu, and we will take it from there. That is step 3. Step 4 is after all said and done. That is, you have agreed on the discipline level philosophy, objectives, and the courses that are common to everybody, regardless of program. They say, okay, bye-bye, people. You go to a different program enclaves and draft the program level revised curriculum. So when the draft for each program is ready, they have to come back. It's not that when it's ready, they just fling the thing to Professor Noel Saliu. No. It has to come back to the group. So the chair of the disciplinary group will then have these meetings that will collectively review the drafts at the level of the discipline. So when you have approved collectively the drafts, let's take education, for chemistry education, biology education, Arabic education, entrepreneurs, everything, then you have to submit as chair for each program in the discipline as approved by the discipline group to NUC. Hey, see what I've written here? Your name, that's the name of the chair, and those of your members who attended minimum of 90% of the meeting. Some will not just come. They just want their names to be there. That's not going to work. The AUC reps are there to take attendance. The names are now ready to be written in gold. Very good. You've done well and you deserve the reward. So, some suggestion for making the meetings more efficient. Mine is personal. The chair should look at all of this even before the plenary meeting to draft the philosophy and objectives, or pick 1, 2, or 3. No, not one. Pick 2 or 3 persons in your group to draft that philosophy and objectives for the discipline. So it becomes the working document for the discipline level plenary. If you don't do that, don't do this, you'll be talking grammar from now for the next 20 months. But if you have a draft developed by yourself, that's the chair, or by the 2 or 3 persons that you selected within the discipline, they will have gone through the thing, and it will be a good draft for them to work. So those are the 4 steps, and I can see a hand up. Oh yeah, I think I'm seeing the hand of Professor Musbah Akonji up, because we're moving on to the final leg of this thing, which is the activities at the level of the program. Did I say final leg? There's a final leg which will be addressing the questions and answers. So over to you, Professor Musbah Akonji.
I am Professor Musbah Akonji, former Vice Chancellor of Federal University of Technology, Minna, a professor of biochemistry for about 30 years. I'm a member of the biochemistry BMAS review team. You have explained to us what you should do at the discipline review level. Can you please explain to us the steps to be taken at the program review level? Thank you.
Oh, yes, sir, Professor Musbah Akonji. I intend to do just that. That is, we all look together at the steps in the review of the CCMAS at the program level. You see, we had Professor Briggs ask us about the discipline level medicine, and then you're asking for discipline program level biochemistry. Now, there's this group of medical students attending their first biochemistry class. They were in the lab, and the professor put the sample of urine, and they said, okay, my dear students, he was trying to test their power of observation. He dipped his finger in the urine and tasted it. And he said, my dear students, oh yeah, put your finger there. You also come and taste. The students were bewildered. But, well, the professor, they talk. So they dipped, each person dipped his or her finger in the urine and tasted. And when they had finished, they were all looking with some kind of nasty faces. The professor, looking bright. They were wondering, not be the professor, you also tasted this. So he said, well, the most important quality is observation. That's a good 21st century skill. And he said, I dipped my middle finger, but I tasted the index finger. Meantime, all the students dipped their index fingers and tasted their index fingers. So one thing that's important for us to note is that it's an all-stakeholder affair. It's not just a curriculum in biochemistry that is produced by biochemists in the Nigerian university system. We want to involve the private sector. Those who are consuming, in quotes now, are products of biochemistry in the industries. We want to involve the academies, Academy of Science, and professional bodies, relevant professional bodies, in arriving at the decisions. It's important that we'll take advantage of the presence in the different discipline groups and program groups. So let's look at the steps in program level review. And that, my dear friends, is the heart of the matter. Let's take step one. Step one is the inaugural meeting. We have finished disciplinary meeting where the Faculty of Science, the science group has met and agreed on the core courses across the Faculty of Science, whether you're doing botany or you are doing biochemistry or you are doing whatever. So the group for biochemistry, that's at the program level, is now meeting, the inaugural meeting. And so the chair of the group, maybe there are 2 or 3 members in the group, or if you are the only person who, now you be chairman, now you be everything. So what you should first of all do is to scan through the working documents. We gave you the NUC BMAS, the comments from the universities, the marked up copies of BMAS of there by each reviewer, and results from the online survey on suggestions for improving the BMAS. I showed you this earlier in this guide. And then you have to note what the ES has told us, his directives through the NUC Director of Academic Planning, or the following, that this curriculum we are preparing must be adequate for training Nigerian university students in the 21st century, should be ICT oriented, should be focused on skills acquisition, should focus on soft skills acquisition, should be entrepreneurial, should emphasize entrepreneurship. Oh, might I have pronounced that word? When we started this entrepreneurial program at NUC in 2005, I encountered some people. I mean, this word now, Igbo word will not be Yoruba or Igbo Hausa word. That is pronounced entrepreneurship, because many of our colleagues are saying entrepreneurship or entrepreneurship. They say the thing are entrepreneurship. But I tell you, this is my guide, not be to blow grammar, but call it anything. But just know that the correct pronunciation is entrepreneurship. Then involving technology, innovative pedagogy, innovative ways of teaching, not necessarily delivering a curriculum by lecture alone. Then, like Professor Ali told us, because he told us this in practice session 2, introduction of blended learning, the delivery of the curriculum. So you can see all of them. Still, during the inaugural meeting, what you're going to do, it could last for an hour, 1.5 hours, or whatever. You should identify the university systems or universities that you want to benchmark, that you want to learn lessons from, in terms of the quality of the curriculum, in terms of the currency, and in terms of the futuristic slant. What do I mean here? What I mean here is this. Baba Rashid has told us he wants a curriculum to be the best. Hey, so if it has to be the best, You can't sit in your father's farm and say, oh yeah, your farm is the best. You have to look at the other farms and see what they grow there and see what are the practices that are making the farm to look worse or to look better. So you go and check them out, and then you do a gap analysis. Okay, oh wow, biochemistry. Which program, which university in the whole world has the best or second best or whatever? Maybe the university that some of the professors here in the group attended. I'm using biochemistry as an example. It can be history, it can be geography, it can be psychology, it can be Arabic education, whatever. So you then say this university has it. So you go there and check. You identify those university systems or universities that you want to target, you want to beat. Then you download materials from them for the core curriculum of the benchmark systems or universities. And after that, before the close of the meeting, you then agree on the schedule of meetings. This thing at the program level is expected to last 3 weeks. So if you are the only person, you can just decide on your own when you want to be meeting yourself or when you want to work. But if you are like 2 or 3 in the group, then you have to agree on the schedule of meetings. And the chairman, I think I indicated it somewhere, the chairman of the discipline, like in this case, science, can decide to attend any of the program group meetings as your schedule permits. Like in our own case, education, our head is the former Minister of Education, Professor Rukayat Ahmed Rufai, and she has 37 programs. So how would she go to 37 in 3 weeks? What she just need to do would be to just pick, okay, I want to see science education, I want to see English education, I want to see this. So she will just go and make her presence felt in the programs. That, my dear colleagues, is what? Step 1. Now let's go to step 2. Step 2 now has rendition on subsequent meetings. You know, in a week, you may say, okay, yeah, we're going to have like 3 meetings. So you have like 9 meetings in total. So subsequent meetings after the inaugural. You then begin the update of the revised draft. And the idea now is for you to select the NUC original BMAS as your base document. That's the one you are going to be making corrections on. And then you have to proceed as follows. 1, you have to update the philosophy and objectives of the program. How do you update it? You have to wade through, like my water, like you need to use both. Wade through the comments from the universities and the reviewers. Just look through all of them and agree on the update that should be made to the philosophy and objectives. You may go through some and the person is saying, oh, do this. And in reflecting with the others in the group, say, oh, no, we want to reject this. Or you say, oh yeah, this is making a good point on the philosophy, let's modify it like this. Or it's making a good point on objectives, let's add this objective. So that's how it works. The entrepreneurial employability skills. You've got to state the entrepreneurial skills that the program targets, irrespective of the program. Because even if it's philosophy, BA philosophy, or BSc accounting, you should know that while separate courses exist, you see, there are separate courses of entrepreneurship, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, whatever compulsory courses across the board. But each course in the university is expected to highlight its entrepreneurial potentials through some selected contents. Of course, this will ensure that when Nigerian public, they are looking at this revised curriculum and they look at it and say, oh, yeah, happy, because entrepreneurship is well captured in the programs, in all the programs in the curriculum. Then 21st century skills. So we have to state in each program what 21st century skills we want to emphasize, want our students to acquire when we implement the program. Now, 21st century skills, you're going to ask me what they are. Of course, I know you know, but let me highlight some of them. They include problem-solving skills, teamwork, digital literacy, creativity, critical thinking, communication skills, information literacy, media literacy, digital citizenship, flexibility, and all of that. So you've got to indicate what 21st century skills your students who are doing philosophy or history will acquire as you go along. Still on step 2, you have to now tell us unique features of the program, because you want to let us know that you have some universities in mind in Europe, North America, and Africa that you are benchmark, that you are benchmark, and you are comparing the NUC one. So you say, okay, NUC one is standing out because let's take biochemistry. That's reflecting the biochemistry relating to the cultural context of Nigeria. Biochemistry relating to the features of the African or biochemical, whatever it is, you know, that you have the unique features. What are the things that are unique? Unique in terms of methodology, unique in terms of the delivery, unique in terms of maybe students work attachment and all of that. Then you then update the other areas. You know, in the curriculum, you have several areas. Admission and graduation requirements, course structure by level and semester, course description, including learning objectives or learning outcomes for each course. You have to, you know, update them. So you look at all the other materials that are there as working documents, and then you agree on which ones to take and update the base document with. And ensure input, you can see we keep underlining this, ensure input from the private sector, the academies, and the professional bodies. Then number 6 is the learning outcomes for every course. You have to provide the learning outcomes and the course description. The course descriptions should reflect lessons that you have learned from university selected as benchmark, and recommendations from reviewers in marked copies, and from the online survey. You have all these documents, so it's easy for you. Go to the online survey results and see, oh, they say you should include this content. Oh, look at it. Oh, yeah, I think we can include this. Oh, but I don't think we need to include this. So you have to make that decision at the program level. So that's the core curriculum component. What about the minimum academic standards component? That's step 3. You have to suggest or update, because the minimum standards could be there. You can update them on admission and graduation, office space, laboratory space, workshop space, list of equipment, and others. That is step 3. So step 4 is formatting and submission. No, you see, when we looked at all the materials submitted, some people were using double line spacing, 1.5 line spacing, 14 point, 11 point, and all that. I think for uniformity, let's just settle for 12 point. And it can be any font, Times New Roman, Calibri, Tahoma, whatever, Arial, just 12 point, and single line spacing. So when you have done this at the program level, what's next? What's next is for you to submit and be ready to defend. You know, I put it to present and to the discipline group at the meeting. So table of contents, how will it look like? It will look like this. You have the core curriculum segment, that's the product, and you have the minimum academic standards segment, and you have all of this. By the way, I will send this to you as a Word document, table of contents. But this table of contents can change slightly when the Director of Academic Planning meets with his team and they decide on what we'll have as the final. But go on with this as we start. What's the duration of this thing? As I said earlier, it is for 3 weeks. Now it remains for me to wish you happy riding. You know, we said fasten your seatbelt, happy flying, or happy rowing your boat, or happy riding on the road. Thank God the kidnappers they don't go see us, and God will bless Nigeria. God will make Nigeria the great country that it is destined to be. So what's next? That's the end of it, but there are some frequently asked questions that I'm going to turn to in a minute. Yes, so we are the question and answer segment, the closing segment of this guide. As you have noticed, you know, many of you never seen me for this kind of garment before. But when I invited our boss, Professor Noel Saliu, and I saw him, I normally see him in suit too. So I saw him in this beautiful bluish regalia, and I said he mustn't outsmart me. So I decided to put on my own garment too. So welcome to this segment of it, which is the question and answer session. We received quite a few questions from your end, and is for the coordinator of the entire operation, the director of academic planning of NUC, to provide the answers. The first one is, we discussed it at the practice session too, is this thing is on now. Accreditation is on. So how will the BMAS review affect accreditation? Is not the idea to shelf the to shelf this one until accreditation is over? So over to you, sir. The answer is what?
Thank you very much, sir. The beauty about our approach to this curriculum review at this time is that we are bringing up the online, approach to it, and we can actually schedule our online meetings for times that are convenient for us, particularly say in the evenings when we know people have actually finished their exercises on the field. So we don't think that the ongoing accreditation exercise will affect this ongoing review process. And we can actually go through that and manage that effectively if we are allotted time properly.
Oh, sure. That's very good. The second question is, the total number of units minimum for graduation for a typical 4-year program is, I think, 120 units. Now, the idea that is conveyed to the universities is that the universities will have a leeway to get some proportion that will make them, they'll be innovative to get some courses at their end. So what is the proportion? What is the proportion for the NUC core curriculum minimum standards and the proportion allowable for the universities?
Thank you, sir. By way of background to this issue, I recall the time ES made the proposition to the universities with respect to how to handle what percentage of the workload the NUC will make prescription on and what percentage universities will bring on board. In fact, at a point in time, the ES was like, can we make it 50-50? And the universities were like, no, it would be too drastic for us to go that fast. And they suggested a gradual kind of proportion in which NUC will be handling 80% and the universities 20%. Okay. If we also call the total credit units required for graduation for a 4-year degree program is 120 credit units.
Yes.
We feel that we should be able to make some allowance for the universities to actually determine part of this credit unit, so that it don't just be exclusively an NUC affair. And we are at a point where we are doing the review, and one of the things we'll be looking at now is about the credit load.
Sure.
As much as we are actually interested in not overburdening the universities with the credit load, we just give them the minimum required for graduation. We feel they should also contribute towards making this amount. So at this point, even though we will be taking a decision on this, by the time we're rounding up on this exercise, we'll appreciate if our reviewers can also make suggestions that will guide our decisions at the NUC, which will be part of the decision of the curriculum review exercise.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much. The third and the final question that I have here from the reviewers is, can one person who is the Lone Ranger in the program review level decide for the whole of the country, the whole of the system for a program? In other words, we have about 250-something reviewers, and we have 190-something plus programs, meaning that there'll be quite a number of programs that will just have one person as the final reviewer. So are we saying that that person will decide for the whole of the world, the whole of Nigeria? That one. So what answer do we have for this important question?
Thank you, sir. I think our reviewers need to know that where we are today is a result of several processes that we have taken in the past. If the draft curriculum we, at the point in time, sent to universities, which universities sent to their respective departments, housing those programs for them to make their comments. So you can imagine the number of persons that contributed
Exactly.
to getting the draft documents that were sent to
Yes.
the university.
Yes.
We also had some input from some professional bodies,
Sure.
some other stakeholders, which were also sent along with the working documents to the reviewers. So technically, it's not only the person handling the work at this point in time that has been involved in this curriculum review process. And the plan is also to involve the private sector. So in a way, it's not one person handling this. It has gone through a number of processes that we are cognizant of. And we feel if one person will make some comments at this point, it will still be effective.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much, sir. That'll be it. Do you have one last word for the reviewers, or if you have some answers to some questions that you have also been receiving from your end? Yes.
Well, it's just for me to really express ES's appreciation for their commitment to this exercise. And there's no amount of thank you we can express to them that will be enough. But whatever we can do at this end, particularly we're even considering now, apart from the initial commitment we made in our letters to them, we felt we'll also do some token data supplementation to them, help them with the review process. Just for us to say that we're really appreciative of their efforts.
Very good.
Thank you so much.
I'm sure you are going to get some person with ink of gold and pen, because the names of these people, I think that's what they will appreciate the most. Their names, to be at the back of the curriculum when the product is out, to have their names. Yours will be in platinum, by the way, platinum. And that of the ES will be, no. ES will be platinum. You will be, let's look for another metal. Thank you so very much, Professor Piodo Saliu. That will be the end of this this guide. I'm so sorry I said it would be a short guide, but it has gone on to be like about 50 minutes. But I'm sure you will benefit from this. Once again, Professor Saliu, we are at your service, and we're looking forward to a very successful. By the way, on Friday, I took my vaccine, AstraZeneca.
Wow.
The first one. And it didn't affect me in any way. As I mentioned during the course of this, when I started recording this. Have you taken yours, Professor Saliu? Or you are afraid? Because many people are afraid of say, okay, let's guinea pigs. Let the guinea pig go first. I know in biochemistry, you are a great biochemist.
I'm convinced to go for mine, sir.
Why are you convinced? Because I took my job and I really, it just didn't, no big issues at all about it.
We thank God for those who helped in blazing the trail on this one, sir.
See them. If it had been otherwise, I told them. What did you send you go take the COVID-19 vaccine as this the guinea pig? But in all of this, we thank God and all the very best.
Thank you so much, sir.
Bye-bye.